Well, hello out there, folks. Your friendly neighborhood hatchet man, Brother Craig. Welcome to the really real deal. May 9th, Mother's Day. And we want to say Mother's Day blessings to all the mothers, all the grandmothers out there, all the aunts, all the ladies who serve and fill in as mother figures. Okay. We can't forget you all out there. So we're going to have a very short program today. Want to share just a little bit with you from the Word of God about mothers, about women, okay, about life, okay. And so we only have two Bible chapters that we're going to discuss today. One is chapter 19 of the book of John. Many of you are biblically literate, so you would know where I'm going with this, particularly on Mother's Day. And Jesus is nailed to the cross, and he's looking down, and he sees John there with his mother, and he says to her, "Woman, behold thy son." And he's referring to John, okay? And he says to John, "Behold thy mother." And it's written in the Word of God that from that hour forth, John took her into his own home, okay? And so this is instruction to us to take care of our women, okay? And so, and it's not just your own woman in the sense of your wife. It is not just your own mother, but the other mothers. This is instruction straight and direct from the word, from the very mouth of God himself, okay? And so, on Mother's Day, okay, it's nice that we do dinners, we do flowers, we do cards, we do presents, we do many things on Mother's Day. Okay, I think I saw just recently someone did a Facebook post that had a picture of a Mother's Day dinner and a Father's Day dinner. The Mother's Day dinner was a great big table, shown enough, not just spread out, shown enough spread out. Okay. And the Father's Day dinner was a hot dog and a hamburger on a grill. Okay. And that's fine. That's fine. We men, we get it. And that's fine. Okay. But we want to make sure that we're doing this and we have this in our hearts 365 days a year. That's all. Okay. 365, 24/7. All right. So now, and that's self-explanatory. That does not require a whole sermon, okay? That's really self-explanatory. Now, I'm going to share with you a little bit from another one of my favorite chapters, and I've spoken on this many times, Proverbs 31. Now, there's four things in the 31st chapter of the book of Proverbs, and many of us know about the last one, okay, which is verses 10 through 31, okay, who can find a virtuous woman, okay? And so, and that's a beautiful subject to speak on Mother's Day, okay? But there's four things working in this chapter, okay? And that's the fourth one. So let me start with the first one, okay? Now, what this is King Lemuel. Lemuel, he is a king who is remembering what he was taught by his mother. And he's recording for posterity what his mother taught him, okay? And so now the first thing that his mother taught him is that he was not only the physical son of his mother, but he is the spiritual son of his mother. Oh, so this harkens back to John chapter 19, in that Jesus's mother was not John's mother, but spiritually she was, because Jesus decreed it. He said to John, behold thy mother. Okay. So we can take women spiritually into our hearts as mothers. Okay. And so people can do the same thing with sons and daughters. You can take them spiritually into your heart. They don't have to come from your loins. Okay. And so in this case, Lemuel is both. Okay. According to the words of Lemuel's mother. Okay. So she's saying, what, my son, and what, the son of my womb, and what, the son of my vows. Okay. And so she's making a distinction, although they both distinctions are of the same individual, Lemuel. Okay. And so he's the son of her womb, but he is also the son of her vows, the vow she's made to God. Okay. Reminiscent of the vow that Hannah made to God. If God would just bless her with a son, that she would consecrate that son to the service of the Lord. Okay. And that's a connection. That's a God thing between the mother and God. Okay. And then the son, he inherits that, or if in the case of if it's in a daughter. Okay. But that's between the parent and God. Okay. And so you have advice from the mother now on, because he's not just the physical son, but he's the spiritual son, and he is a king. Okay. So she's preparing him to be a king. So he's not being prepared to just be ordinary. He's being prepared to be responsible for other people. All right. And so this is him warning his son about the things that destroy kings. Okay. Give not thy strength unto women. Now, she's not saying don't have a wife. Okay. But give not thy strength unto women. Okay. Now, hopefully I don't have to write that in crayon. Okay. Now, I'm known for writing it in crayon. Okay. We can figure that out. Okay. And so, nor thy ways to that which destroys kings. Okay. And so basically she's warning him about sexual temptation and about the temptation of substances. Now here it says to wine and strong drink. Okay. But we have to, understand that there's more than just wine and strong drink. Okay. Now in my home state of Virginia, they just legalized marijuana, which is a gateway drug. Okay. And so folk might want to be pulling out Proverbs 31. Okay, but see, now a lot of these people know about the last part of Proverbs 31, because that's the part that people quote all the time. Okay, who can find a virtuous woman? And we pull that out when we want to honor our mothers on Mother's Day and things like that. And I remember when it was my mother's 60th birthday, we had a great big huge celebration for her. We reserved a restaurant, and I think we might have had 100 people there, or I forget, I know it was 75 people. Okay. And we all, the 5 children, we all went up, took turns saying nice things about my mother, invited other people to do the same. And when it was my turn to speak, I quoted Proverbs 31, verses 10 through 31. And I just, took my time and went through that and shared with people why I thought my mother fit the bill of the virtuous woman in the book of Proverbs. Okay. And so, and many of us do that. And I'm saying that's good and that's wonderful. Okay. But I'm saying there's more to this chapter than what meets the eye. Okay. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Okay. And so this advice, this is really coming from the mother in preparation of a young man to become a king. Okay. And so this is the second thing that of the second of the four. The first thing is that this son is not just an ordinary son. He's not just a physical son. He's a spiritual son. The second thing is, giving him warning, okay, so that he doesn't destroy himself with things of the flesh. He is to be a man of the spirit, okay? And so now the third thing is preparation for being a king, okay? And so he's grown now. He hasn't been chasing women. He hasn't been using drugs and alcohol and all of these. He's not snorting cocaine, and so he's got his right faculties, okay? So now you're ready to be a king. So now what does the mother say to him? Open thy mouth and speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Okay? And so this is on Mother's Day, this is advice from a mother. Okay? Advice from a mother. This is not advice from Brother Craig. This is advice from a mother. Brother Craig is just reading it. Okay? And, so don't forget this, Dennis. Most of what I tell you, I'm not telling you of myself. I'm just the messenger. Okay? I'm not this smart. All right? But so this is verses 8 and 9. Okay? Open thy mouth and speak for those who cannot speak for themselves, those appointed for destruction. Okay? And then verse 9, open thy mouth again. Twice it says open thy mouth. Okay? Open thy mouth. Okay? Don't speak humbly. Don't speak a little bit. Open your mouth. Okay? And judge righteously. Okay? And again, this is for people in leadership. Okay? This is a mother preparing her son for leadership. Okay? Judge. Okay? So none of this stuff about we can never be judges. Okay? Right here is a mother preparing her son to judge. Okay? But to judge righteously. To judge righteously. None of this stuff of judge not that ye be not judged, because people take that out of context, okay? Because, later in that same chapter, it says to judge, but to judge righteously, okay? You cannot, this is why I like to give people the whole chapter, not the individual verse. And so I want you to read the entire chapter. Read it more than once. Read the entire chapter, Proverbs 31, okay? And plead the cause of the poor and the needy. Okay. And so that's the third thing here. So you have, let's start because we're about to go into the fourth and final phase of Proverbs 31. So the first thing is that he is a physical son and a spiritual son. The second thing is that she's warning him how to not destroy his life. Okay. In his youth. And then the third thing is she's teaching him how to be king, that he's not king for himself. He's king because why? He's in a position because it says to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves and to judge righteously. Okay. And we live in a time where a lot of people are not allowed to speak because all these evil, wicked people are shutting platforms down where people are trying to speak the word of God. You get shut down. You get deplatformed. Okay. And judging righteously, there is no more judging righteously up at a high level in this country. Okay. It's judging based on agendas and this group against that group. And there's one group that has the power that's doing this. Okay. It's not equal. It's not a 50-50 thing. All right. And so I don't want to get into the politics of it, but anybody that can't figure that out, you might be on the wrong channel. I'm just sorry. I have to say it like that because in today's world, it is just that plain. Okay. It is just that plain. Okay. So there's no need in me wasting time if folk don't already see what's happening. Now we get to who can find a virtuous woman. Okay. Because see, he has to do these three things before he can go looking for a virtuous woman. Okay? Because why? Well, if you're not a spiritual son, and if you haven't kept yourself from chasing, women and wine, and if you haven't used the platform that you have righteously for the benefit of God's people, then maybe you're not worthy of a virtuous woman, or maybe you're not ready yet for a virtuous woman. Okay? And so you go back and see, everybody wants a virtuous woman, just like every woman wants a man that's all that and a bag of chips. Okay? But, what kind of man does that woman want? What kind of woman does that man want? Okay? So in order to attract that which you want, you have to first be what they want, because the attraction has to be mutual. Okay? It has to be mutual. All right? And so the Lemuel's mother has things in their proper order. Okay? She has them in their proper order. Okay? The son, he's born, he's spiritual, he hadn't been destroyed, and he's doing his job and he's doing it right. Okay? Now he's ready to go find himself a wife. Okay? And so now we go through, I'll tell you, I hope my son is watching this one. He's a fine young man, and I hope I'm not embarrassing him by saying that, but yeah, Grandpa Hatchet could use a few more grandchildren, and but he needs a wife first. So anyway, I hope this is not embarrassing him too much, but I'm gonna make sure my son gets this one. All right, and so anyway, we are verse 10, and I'll just read some of it here. Okay, and it's really, really very beautiful. It's really very beautiful. So verse 10, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Okay? It's just, and as I read through this, I'm telling you folks, every word of this is my sweet and wonderful Mrs. Hatchet. I'm telling you, okay? She does me so much good, never evil. I safely trust in her. I mean, she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. And my sweet wife doesn't, nobody uses wool and flax these days, but folks do work, and my wife does work, okay? She is like the merchant's ships bringing her food from afar, okay? And as a matter of fact, we get food from all kinds of places. Yeah. And now I would stand up and show you this stomach here. My wife loves to cook, and I like to eat, but I think I'm just gonna sit here. We're not gonna show you that, okay? And I know I'm probably getting a lot of amens out there from you men out there who have wives that take very, very good care of you, the way my sweet Mrs. Hatchet takes care of me. And the way I'm going to tell you, I'm spoiled, because growing up, this was my mother. Okay. This was my mother. And so, and my grandmother, who's still alive at 101 years old. Okay. This is both of them. All right. And so she considers, okay, I skipped one. She rises while it is also yet night, and gives meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. And again, I'm always amazed at the kindness that my wife shows to other people and the people that work with us, that perform various tasks. I mean, she's just always so very kind. And this is just straight out of the Word of God. Okay. She considers a field and she buys it. Okay. So, I mean, this is the virtuous woman. Okay. She's busy. All right. She does not have idleness. Okay, there's a verse in here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's a verse in here somewhere about she doesn't have idleness. Okay, she doesn't have time for all of that nonsense. Okay, she girds her loins with strength. She strengthens her arms. She sees her merchandise is good. Her candle goes not out by night. I mean, she lays her hands to the spindle. I mean, this is just, she stretches out to the poor. She's generous. Okay. And I'm telling you, folks, this is just really, really beautiful. Chapter 31 of the book of Proverbs. Okay. She makes a covering for herself. Okay. She's not afraid of the snow for her household. I mean, she makes fine linens and she sells it. And then this is a really, really key verse right here, verse 25, in reference to how it goes to the linen and the tapestry and the clothing that she makes for herself. You would think that, okay, these things she makes, this is her outer garments. But verse 25 says, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. In time to come. Okay? And there's a reason why it says in time to come, because while all of this work is being done, okay, you girding your arms and all this strength and all this work, sometimes you wonder, okay, when is the time going to come? Okay, because you're working so hard. Okay, and so, but it says here, she shall rejoice in time to come. Okay, now here's another key, and I know we men, we really appreciate this. I know I appreciate this. Okay, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Okay. Now, now I'm the Hatchet man. Okay. And I'm not an unkind person. Okay. But sometimes I can be a little bit verbose and expressive. Okay. And it's a joy to have a sweet wife who fits this bill here in the Word of God. In her tongue is the law of kindness. Okay? And so, if you out there, if you men, you have a wife like that to kind of rein you in a little bit, you look over at her and say, all right, sweetheart, I see you right here in the Bible. Okay? So she looks well to the ways of her household. And here's that verse I was telling you earlier. She eateth not of the bread of idleness. Okay. And again, it's right here in the Word of God. Okay. It's right here. Okay. Her children, gather all the children around now. And if they're not around now, you get them around later and you make them read this one here. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Okay. And her husband also, and he praises her. Okay. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. That's beautiful. And I send that out not only to my sweet and wonderful Mrs. Hatchet, I send that out to all the mothers out there, all the wives, all the daughters, for whom this is fitting. Okay. And so I would just close out, as I always do, with a prayer that the Lord would bless you and keep you, that the Lord would make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you, and that the Lord would lift his countenance up upon you and give you peace. God bless you out there. Be very, very nice to all these mothers, not just today, but 365. And remember the words of Jesus that we started out with. Behold thy mother. Remember that. God bless you. I'm going to see you next week, folks. Same Hatchet time, same Hatchet station. God bless you.